Hey everyone, okay, so in one of my videos I was talking about the sacred name. Now everyone in the USA, we write Jesus, okay? Well, I learned from a friend of mine who went to heaven and came back that this means I pig. Or she says it means earth pig. Well, I think it actually means I pig, because look, it says, if you look at iPhone, Apple computer kind of points to that, because it looks like the global elite know this. Then we have je suis, I pig, okay? This is I in French. This is pig. Now, look, how do you say I am in French? Je suis. See? So it doesn't look like an accident when you put it side by side, right? I am. So he's like, I am pig. Okay, so, now the third temple is going to be rebuilt, and people are going to be using this spelling in the third temple. All right, but look at this. People die all the time in the NDE world, and I'm one of them. I went, I was, when I got saved, I probably called on the name Jesus. I didn't know Yeshua yet. I didn't know the name Yeshua yet, and in my NDE, I probably used the name Jesus when I called out for help. And so I'm about to say he's gonna damn people for using that name or anything like that. I'm not saying that he's going to be mad at anyone, okay? So I don't want people freaked out, like, I gotta retrain my brain as fast as I can, of course. Now, so I just think that, so that's je suis, this is Latin, and this is French, okay? And French is a Latin Romance language, okay? So it doesn't look like an accident when you put it that way, okay? Now, here's the thing. We have Jesus. This looks like I Zeus, okay? That's what he told me. He was like, this looks like I Zeus. But it's okay. Now, because the abomination of desolation, well, I'm not going to say it's okay. It's supposed to be about Zeus, Baal Peor, and pigs. Okay? And Baal Peor. Okay. That's what the abomination of desolation is supposed to be about. Okay? Oh, as a prophecy. So I'm going to have to study that prophecy a little more myself. But I'm just giving you a little basic thing here. Now, but look, this is what he told me. I had an apparition. I was like, why do you let them use the name Jesus when they meet you in heaven? He was like, I don't use the vowels. I was like, I don't have to use the vowels. So so I was like JSS, because in Hebrew they don't use vowels. No vowels in Hebrew. Okay, so I just wrote this Jesus, and look at all the different spellings, I guess. And so when people need to hear, because there's people that will freak out if you don't say Jesus be blessed, may Jesus be blessed. There's people named Jesus anyway. You can bless the name Jesus. There's lots of people named Jesus, and you can I bless all people named Jesus through Yeshua HaMashiach. Okay, I bless. So he when people meet him in heaven, they'll be like, "You're Jesus," and he'll say, "Yes, my name is Yeshua." In Hebrew, so that's what I was going to tell you guys. So Jesus, anyways, so this is what we kind of made up in case someone wanted to switch from it and still use, and switch to the Hebrew name without messing up their mind about it, because I grew up with an LD. I know it takes a while to retrain your brain, and you have to retrain your brain from the old name. You might still fall back on this because your inner child, if this name was sown as your inner child, for your inner child might get shaken up if you don't use this name. Okay? So, because it's programmed that deeply into you, you see? So anyways, then we have, and this is, I was also told some of these names are tongues of angels. Okay, they're the tongues of angels. Some of the spirits of men's names for Yeshua is the tongues of angels. So please don't judge all these names, okay? These are like kids, and they're saying the kids, like the children, speak these names and know them, okay? Tongues of angels, okay? Now, we just didn't know about this spelling right here. We're like, what? So, it's just this little dude right here, okay? I noticed that there were legions of spirits attacking people using the wrong name, the spirit of legion, who went into pigs, okay? they still cast out Legion in this name, because it's going to be a shame to Legion, not the Father and not his people. You see? And so Jews for Jesus said Yeshu means they intended that to mean may his name be blotted out. I don't have the full Jewish teaching on that, so hold off on using that as a high word, okay? Now let's see. Oh, one time he picked on me, and he was joking. I was like, I called him Jesus, and he's like, I know you are, but what am I? Because I was tripped up. But he was basically saying, nope, I have my new name on now. So my true name on now. So then we have. He still wants me to use the name Jesus sometimes. Okay, is what I noticed. Not necessarily that spelling, but he doesn't. He wants me to be able to communicate and use that name. Okay. If I need to, okay, and he doesn't want me saying I'm going to deny that name or anything like that, or say anything negative about it, okay, and Jesus was the original name that the apostles, we believe, wrote, like, as a translation, okay. So I have a woman I know who is French, and she can't say thunder. And a lot of the reason for these names is they cannot pronounce the true name, okay? So don't judge people who cannot pronounce these names, okay? So a lot of times, like, they had to go talk to these people in their language. Well, they can't write Yeshua in their language. They can only write Yeshu, Yeshus, Jesus. See how it kind of sounds the same? Yeshus, Yeshus. So, Jesus. See, Jesus. Okay, so they're saying we could probably say Yeshu. Because this sounds like Yeshu. But the Jews for Jesus did say they meant that, may that name be blotted out. But this is Jesus, okay? And they're saying this, I think this one should be under the blood. A lot of times. I think it's all under the blood. I just think that one is extra under the blood. But yeah, it's supposed to sound like Zeus, like Hail Zeus. And Sus, which means swine. So they're saying if you try to step up and practice the new name. Now I had a friend. Well, I don't really know. It's like a brainwave came to me, and they're like, the papacy can pronounce and use every name, but they don't use every name. Now, this is what my message is to papacy. I'm like, hey, can we put that Hebraic name in more services? Because that was a way that the papacy got hit. You see? They're like, y'all use every name but the true name. And then they said that's why they gave him the title. That's why the opposers, or the opponent, not necessarily the Protestants, but the opponent, because we're all using these names all over the kingdom, not just the papacy. They said that that's how the Pope got the title, the false prophet, okay? Because he will use every name. It sounds like he's using every name but the true name. You see? So they're calling him a false prophet who cannot prophesy and bless the true name. So I bless Yehoshua. You see, I bless Yehoshua HaMashiach, who came to earth in the flesh. I bless Yehoshua in every language and tongue in Yehoshua's name that he accepts and loves. I bless Yehoshua as Jesus, who appears as Jesus both in heaven and on earth still. So I just wanted to let y'all know that. So may Jesus be blessed. May Yehoshua be blessed. But there's lots of people named Jesus. So it's not a sin to bless someone, and no one is necessarily cursing God by using the name Jesus. Otherwise, like that poor kid, I won't call a poor kid, but Jesus, there's people named Jesus. Well, they're saying that counts as a blasphemy. Well, you're calling that kid Jesus. It's not a blasphemy to that kid who's named that. You see? So, because the light dwells within that kid too. Okay? Alright, so it's not a blasphemy, that's that kid's name, okay? So I think that's why Yeshua is very merciful. He's not mad at anyone, and it is what I believe. Because I'm like, well, that's not blasphemy to anyone, you know, unless you mean it in a disrespectful way. Okay? Which is still it still looks real, it's still kind of, you know, but it's still supposed to mean, it's like your heart intent is what matters here. Okay? I guess is what I'm saying. And if you want to take these vowels out, you can do that. We have lots of ways if you're retraining for retraining of the brain and tongue purposes. All right.